No Japanese info by Japanese people. Then, count on me! Hey there, it's Naoto. Today's story concerns Edo period, which was a relatively peaceful time governed by samurai. Before that, Japan was in the middle of the brutal war period. But after the Battle of Sekigahara in 1600, Japan was finally unified and we lashed into Edo period. Speaking of Edo period, it may sound like every person was samurai, but that's not true at all. There was a distinction of the people in terms of the social class. There were samurais in the upper class of the society. They were, so to say, the rulers. On the other hand, the other people were ruled by samurai. There was a social order like that. At that time, there was no democracy. So today we are going to learn what kind of people were living in Edo period. First of all, please take a look at this graph. This graph indicates the population of late Edo period. The total number is roughly 32 million people. As you can see, the peasants account for 85%. Again, 85%, that's a huge number. We call them hyakusho, who are engaged in fishery, agriculture, forestry, and so forth. They were forced to live in villages and obligated to dedicate rice as tax. At such time, rice was a vital revenue for the samurai government. Meanwhile, the people whom we call samurai account for just 7%. Probably it's less than you had imagined. Again, Edo period was a time governed by samurais. Tokugawa family established a Tokugawa shogunate, and the shogun, who was so to say the prime minister of the samurai, controlled Japan. In order to maintain the governance by samurai, the social system should be convenient for samurais. To that end, the social class system, which divided people, played an important role. Samurai belonged to the upper social class. They were the people who ruled the society, and they had some privileges. For instance, those two things are remarkable. The first one, only samurai was allowed to have katana. Katana was a symbol of samurai. In other words, it symbolizes the social status. That is the one of the reasons that samurai cherished katana. And the second thing is as follows. In Edo period, only samurais were allowed to have family name. Today we all have own family name, but actually it was not until Meiji period from 1868 that every person could have a family name. Perhaps I'm lucky. I was born after the samurai period and I have family name. Well, let's get back to the graph. The 5% of them was the people who was called choni. People like craftsmen and merchants belong to choni. On the other hand, the 1.5% of the population was actually the discriminated people. Those were the people called eta or hinin. It's very terrible discrimination that we shall never forget. They were not considered to be a human. They were ruled out from the society. They were compelled to engage in dirty works, such as the work of execution, burial of dead people, and so forth. That's a dark side of Japanese history. Well, actually, at elementary schools, we Japanese tend to have learned the social system of Edo period like this. Shi no kousho. Shi is bushi, samurai, and no is peasant, ko is craftsman, and sho is merchant. And we have learned that this hierarchy of shino kousho was essential social system in Edo period. However, recently it turned out that there was nothing like shino kousho hierarchy. It was very surprising to me, but shino kousho was excluded from the textbooks at schools. The thing is, originally, shino kousho was just about the professions of the people, so it's completely wrong to associate with social hierarchy. Instead, there was just the system of two social classes, samurai and other people. Or I should say, three social classes considering eta hinin. It was not so easy to promote to the upper social class, but technically it was possible. There were some people who were born in the family of peasants, but gained so much money and bought the right of samurai. But still, there was a social system that divided people, and that was basically a hereditary system. In short, the life of the people at such time was basically depending on the birth. If you are born in samurai family, you will be samurai. But in peasant family, basically, you will be peasant. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching till the end. See you next time on the Japanalyst. ありがとうございました。